Yes, karibuni tena for very special interview. Naweza ita transformational ama impactful interview. And niko na guest kwa set, I'll introduce her or she'll introduce herself. But issue tuko hapa nao mtanizoea. Inaka kama rights, I know my rights, we need our rights. So leo tunaenda kuangalia rights zingine about watu wa tech. We got information that people on tech have some serious concern. Kuna the Business Laws Amendment Bill 2024 and inaleta shida. And the issue on the table, if you're a senator in Kenya, you are being accused of passing some law without public participation that is bound to affect a lot of people in Kenya grievously. Guest wangu yuko hapa to explain. She's from the tech world and also human rights world. Welcome in. Mambo?
Poa sana.
Tuanze tu na introduction kwanza.
Okay. Naitwa Angela Chukunzira.
Angela?
Chukunzira.
Chukunzira.
Yes, I am a Mozilla fellow. I'm hosted at Siasa Place, and I do work with tech workers in general. So I'm currently working with the Africa Tech Workers Movement.
Africa Tech Workers Movement.
Yes.
So the entire Africa is involved, or it's just a name? It's Kenyan, but the name has Africa in it.
Africa is involved. Wherever Kenya is, Africa is.
Or wherever Kenya is, Africa is.
Yes.
Shikilia hapo, we'll get back to if Kenya is the heart of Africa in matters tech. We'll get into that. Kabla tuende sana, law affects everybody directly or indirectly. So ningependa tuanze na some definitions because I know there are so many people who might not be involved in this discussion unless we break it down to the normal human life. First of all, who is a tech worker? Who is a tech worker?
Right. So a tech worker is a very wide term, right? But now having defined my line of work, for me, the tech workers are in three categories, right? So there's the e-hailing sector, which is bodabodas, drivers, Uber drivers, Uber, Bolt, Faras, ziko nyingi.
Ama online taxi.
Online taxi, generally.
Pia wako under tech workers.
They are tech workers.
Okay, kina mutua mko locked.
They are tech workers because their work is tech mediated, right? Alafu kuna a category called content moderators. Content moderators, maybe think about watchman wa social media.
Content moderator ni watchman wa social media.
Think about it like that. Kwa sababu,
ukiingia the guys who watch over what's happening.
Exactly. Ukiingia kwa building, utaacha ID hapo chini, ulizwe which floor you're going, uskaniwe, uweke kibeti, And the aim of that is to security. Kuminimize any harm. Naweza kuwa nimekuja na kisu kudunga hapa. Ndio unaenda na kisu wapi?
Okay.
And so when there's harmful content on social media, they're the ones who actually filter it out. So they kind of see the most gruesome things that are posted on social media and they remove them before they come on site.
Wale watu wanaangusha post.
Wanaangushanga.
Wanakuambia hii post yako ina violate.
Haiwezi. Yeah.
Yendani na.
Exactly.
Will shut you down for your risk.
Precisely.
So there are people behind that.
There are people behind
Actual
that.
people.
Yes.
Na venye tunadhani hao watu wako mbali sana.
Imagine na wako huku Kenya wengi sana.
Sio kwa flag mara moja hata sisi. Tunaweza pataje watu. So they just around.
Yes.
Okay. So ni moderators.
Kuna moderators. And then now we are living in an era of AI.
Oh wow.
So maybe unaangalia kitu kama vacuum cleaner for instance, which just cleans the house, right? Kazi yake ni kumop floor. But do you know ni watu huku ndo wanafanya hiyo kazi? Who train your vacuum cleaner to understand this is a sock, this is a chair, this is a table, this is a wire. Usimeze, So those are the three categories of workers that I work with and around. So for me, that's I would define that as tech work.
Very wide. So ando watu hii bili ina violate kiasi.
Ando watu tume work now. Yeah.
Okay. We'll get into that. Let's get inspirational, motivational. So we define tushajua watu wako Kenya. how does someone become a tech worker, and is it paying? Or maybe unemployment iko big, and maybe this can solve unemployment. Is it paying? Ama nika side hustle? Can someone say professionally, I'm a tech worker, I have a degree, I have a master's, and I'm a tech worker, and it is paying, it is a well-paying job? If you could inspire guys.
MajiMaji, hilo swali ni ngumu sana because there are too many variables at stake, right? Mimi, wewe kwako maybe 10K is a lot of extra money, right? Kuna mwingine 500K is the basis. So what is a lot of money? What is even good pay? What is decent pay? Yeah, kuna zile standards zenye kuna kuangana minimum wage, right? Kuna minimum wage Kenya. But then again, ukiangalia stories za most tech workers, it's actually very crazy. I don't know marangapi wo panda Uber. First of all, mnakuanga mmejam, ukiulizwa inakuletea how much, una jam. But kuna fuel, kuna car wash, kuna insurance, lazima yeye mwenyewe ajilipie. And sometimes running that car is just a job. It's not giving anything. It's keeping you busy. But at the end of the day, kuna yo 18% yenye inaendea Uber. And actually, congratulations to Uber driver who actually pushed it down to 18. It was 25%. But it's because of the work they've been doing for over 10 years that has made this law to come to effect to 2023 when it was pushed from 25 to 18%.
Oh, okay.
But you know, even when you think about the dynamics and everything, when they were saying this thing is 25%, fuel was 100 bob those days. Nowadays, fuel is 200 bob and it's 18%. So, you know, like these are some of the struggles. And when you think about it, maybe hata ukiongea na some of the data labelers of AI, wanakuambia, unajua sisi kuingia hii job, lazima tuseme tunaishi Kibera. So what does that mean? Ndio mpate hii kazi. So it means wanatafuta demographic fulani.
Wait. Wanatafuta demographic fulani, unamaanisha watu wa mtaa.
Watu wa mtaa.
Kwa nini?
Kwa sababu wanasema, okay, utakubali so mbili.
Nani hao wanasema?
Hizo kampuni.
Kampuni gani hizo?
Undisclosed.
Za majuu ama za huko?
Za majuu.
Kampuni za majuu zinasema wanataka watu wa mtaa. Why?
Because unaona hapo already, tukianza kusema about violation of rights, already is kama uko vulnerable towards something, unakuwa much more vulnerable. You understand?
So they can easily accept what's on the table.
Exactly. And
so
then
they are purposefully looking for people who can accept what's on the table.
What's on the table. But at the same time, there's also very high unemployment. Manze uliamba usome, ukasoma. Lakini it doesn't come to anything. Umekamta, mwaka moja ya pili, umefanya Uber, umefanya hii. So this becomes an alternative, right? So there's so many.
So we are conforming to something that can be made better.
That is it.
For a better environment.
For a better environment, better work environment. And these are some of the problems that tech workers are facing. Now, like, don't think that, for example, content moderators, they're not only people in Kenya, right? They take very many people from across the continent. Kuna watu wanatoka Nigeria, kuna watu wanatoka South Africa, Ethiopia, Eritrea, because you're moderating a language, right? So if someone speaks Tigrinya, you come from Eritrea, right? So you're moderating Tigrinya language. So you're in Kenya, but you're moderating Eritrean content. And the reason it's very important to have humans in this content moderation sphere is that only humans can understand the interactions we have and say, kama niko hapa Kenya niseme kitu kama a very local lingo. Hata kama unaongea Kiswahili ama Sheng, you can only understand it because you're in Kenya. Kitu kama one term.
One term, ama two term.
Ama
to balance.
Democracy. Ama two term. Somebody can only understand that akisoma kwa Facebook or whatever social media kama uko Kenya na kama una understand socio-political context ya Kenya.
So that has to be key. The moderator has to be considerate and he or she must understand.
Exactly.
From the context.
Exactly.
So that's how local Meta has to deal with us. with each region and block and country and community all the way.
Yes, because when you're talking from Hausa language, right, you have to moderate and understand the socio-political content and context so that you're able to say this content is harmful, this is not. And, sometimes the lines can even be blurry, even for the content moderators themselves. Because humans are complex, things change. And so that's the nature of the work. Like, yeah.
I've understood who's a tech worker and how this law, probably why mko up now. So maybe explain the Business Law Amendment Bill 2024 from point mnasema petition. Why are you petitioning it? And maybe unaweza explain hiyo kidogo mtu aelewe hiyo bill inasemaje.
So from a tech worker's perspective, right, one of the things that inakuja na hiyo bill is that there is no, what's the word? These companies cannot be sued here, right? And that becomes a problem because what happens? Like who takes responsibility? So what tech workers are demanding is responsibility for the work that they do. Because one, these companies are multi-million profit making. And two, our labor is involved. Full stop.
So labor versus profitability, mnaona ni kama balance.
Yeah, exactly.
They cannot be sued. Unamaanisha hii bill ina protect the investor, but I protect the laborer.
Exactly.
The tech worker.
Ndio hivyo. So it's
maybe
about
inawakaje na protectaje.
It's about the environment of business to be suitable, but it comes at the cost of the workers because sasa to create environment suitable for big tech to operate here. That is a good thing because it can help to create jobs. That can be the argument. But what jobs are we demanding? MajiMaji. Like, tunataka job tu, inanipea tu do, ama I'm looking at someone who 10 years down the line, they cannot even do a job. Because when you talk to most of these tech workers, like content moderators who are filtering content and AI data labelers, some of the things that they face, the issues that they face are massive. Like insomnia permanent. Mtu alalangi usiku.
Team digital.
Manze?
Insomnia.
Watu walalangi usiku.
Okay.
People face nightmares. Their sense of reality is totally altered because you watch this pornography all day because you're coding it, right? Or you're watching violent content, people, pedophilia, such kind of things. Kuna watu wanaogopa kupata watu hii after kufanya kazi. Your sense of reality is altered. And I'm like, we need protection that ensures that their psychosocial health is taken care of. And so these are some of the issues that you're like, okay, we want decent work. We just don't want work.
So what are the tech workers' issue with the investor? And how does the investor work? Anawak na agency kwa ground ama anawak directly na tech workers? Can you explain from where it starts to the tech worker?
So when you think of...
And where do you want to address these grievances?
When you think of the whole supply chain of this tech gig work, at least let me talk about content moderation, for example. Utapata kuna a big tech company. Let's take Meta as an example. And then Meta does not employ directly, right? So it has some companies here that are working on behalf. So they're recruiting.
So Meta have subcontracted.
Subcontracted, yes. Zinaitwa business process outsourcing companies.
Okay, wame outsource.
BPOs.
Okay.
And so BPOs zina recruit. Yeah? And when you hear how some of these people are recruited, unaambiwa, kuna translator job uko Nairobi, and you're in Nigeria, you're in northern Nigeria. You're like, who's speaking Hausa in Nairobi? But wacha nijaribu, nikubaya sina job. You apply. Unafika hapa, you're signing a very strict non-disclosure agreement. Unaambiwa, you can't even tell anyone this is the job you're doing, right? And uliambiwa ni translation, Kumbe, here you're coming, you're seeing people being murdered every day. Those are the images you're exposed to day and night. Yes, you are told it's translation. So also, these are some of the things I'm like,
So this is actually happening.
This is actually happening. This is actually happening. And this is what led to the lawsuit year 2022. When workers...
the lawsuit 2022.
So when workers were trying to unionize, they were trying to see how can we address these grievances that we're facing, right? And so it led to a lawsuit against Meta. And Meta was sued because they were like, the workers were saying, "Ai, tumepitia mengi sana. Hatulali usiku."
Also, so those were some of the complaints from the workers.
Those were some of the complaints.
So
and then also,
but
yes.
what did they sign for? What does the contract anyone is signing like? You'll work, you'll be accessible anytime, because you already know what online is.
There's something called NDA, non-disclosure agreement, where you sign that contract and you're not supposed to tell anyone what you're doing, right? And so the vagueness of it all leads to lack of transparency, one, but also freedom of association and assembly. Mimi na wewe tumesimama hivi tu nje tunaanza kuongea, our workers wanataka kuorganize. Ni nini hii wanapanga? And because we are the only ones who understand what we are doing. Nata nikiambia mtu mwingine. First of all, siwezi ambia mtu mwingine because of the NDA. Even my family. Nimetoka Nigeria, nimetoka South Africa, nimetoka Ethiopia. Even my own family does not know. Wanasikianga tu msee alifanyanga kazi ya tech huko Kenya. You know, kwanza they expect you to send home some money. Kwanza ni nini, you know? And so this whole idea, like, so this business amendment law is saying these companies cannot be sued here.
Okay, before we get there, then how did the case go? How did the lawsuit go in 2022 against Meta? So when we say against Meta, we against Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah, perhaps we can say it's against Mark Zuckerberg. It's against, you know, the company itself.
So how did it go?
Hii kesi bado inaendelea.
Okay.
Hii kesi bado inaendelea, but you know the thing is that when it started, it's like there's no jurisdiction to do it in Kenya. You know, also these legal battles zilikuwa nyingi, and so the case is still ongoing as we speak. But you know, like I always, at the bottom of my heart, I truly believe the legal processes are long and tedious, but justice delayed also.
Justice denied.
So, because this is an ongoing case, there are things that, you know, are beyond. Yeah.
So how does the bill come in while we have a live case going on?
So this bill is like...
How does the bill change?
This bill is like iwe funzo, because this will never happen again.
Oh.
You see, this bill is really...
So the tech workers will never ever sue the company directly.
You see? So,
but is the big company protected by the person they outsourced from in case of a conflict?
How do you mean?
Like now you're saying Meta now outsources locally somebody who will manage the tech workers. Can you now then sue the person outsourced instead of Meta, or how does it work now?
Who's responsible? MajiMaji.
Of course, the big.
You see? And for me, it should be like people should take responsibility for their actions. People should take responsibility. If you're saying hata tumechukua nani flani afanye hii kazi, this is the one who's responsible for you. And you see, this is actually a problem of labor, and this is a capitalism issue, because outsourcing has become so major that no one is taking responsibility for workers. This precarity ya workers inaenda ikiongezeka. This outsourcing thing, it's like when you think of, let's give an example of Ghetto radio offices. You have cleaners, right? So you say like cleaners are coming from Parapet. Parapet are coming to clean. So when a cleaner is having an issue, they cannot sue Ghetto radio. They'll sue
the person who outsourced.
They'll sue Parapet.
Yes, Parapet.
But when you think about it, this is actually...
when there's an issue with Parapet and Ghetto radio,
yes,
Parapet will sue Ghetto radio. Let's say we've delayed with payments. If we have complaints for how is it clean or not, we tell Parapet, we don't tell the Parapet worker directly. And that's the relationship with the outsourced. But in this case, what do you guys want? You want to sign a contract with the outsourced, but you want to engage the big companies directly on major conflicts.
Yes, because MajiMaji, this is a global supply chain issue. And you see, rights are being violated left, right, center, and there's no accountability from the big techs. And I'm working on a Facebook platform. I'm moderating content on Facebook. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm moderating, exactly. I'm moderating content on Facebook.
So you want a situation where now, instead of Facebook outsourcing, it opens a branch. It's people here in Kenya, so that you address this issue.
For me, it's just a matter of taking responsibility from the ground, because I'm actually working on your platform. I'm working directly on your platform, and that says something a lot about how our relationship should work. And you know, if big tech companies are constantly being covered, what happens to workers? So like, let's center the workers, MajiMaji. Let's center the workers. Okay. Let's center their well-being. That is the demand.
So how did the bill then come to pass? Did you get a chance to air these views as tech workers?
Precisely. This is actually a journey.
Direct engagement in terms of conflict with the big companies. How did it pass?
This is a journey. When the bill was tabled in November 2024, tech workers came together. And this is how, you know, we started engaging with some lawyers, with some other stakeholders involved in this case. And we brought workers together. And workers actually, the lawyers were very useful. They broke down the legalese, you know, one by one. They told us, hey, this is what this may mean. What would you guys envision? You know, what do you guys want? And so as this bill was when workers were giving a response, we actually had the 3 categories of workers write their own memoranda and address it to Senate. And there was no response. So for us, it is like the bill passed in Senate with no public participation.
Could the Senate have had a sitting with them independently?
No.
Do you guys have a union or a block of representation?
We are working under the Africa Tech Workers Movement. That is how we formed it.
Are you sure the Crystals, the Sifunas, the Aarons, the Kajuans, as articulate as they are, as constitutional as they are, they could have passed a bill without public participation? The Speaker Kingi, having been through trenches of democracy, liberation, you want to mean they could have passed a bill without public participation? I'm a public participation. I'm the other tech workers somewhere you guys don't know of that were asked.
As far as I'm concerned,
there was no public participation.
There was no public participation. And that is another issue, because this lack of public participation is a violation of the Constitution. The Constitution is only 15 years old. Imagine, this is somebody who is in Form 1. And they've been violated left, right, center. What type of childhood have they experienced? What type of adult will they become? You know, how are we thinking of our country around the rule of law and impunity?
Kina Sifuna wanaweza fanya kitu kayo. Eddie Okech. Kwanza Eddie Okech, I'm sure he's in the heart of creative industry. Kabisa, do you know him?
Yes.
The Migori Senator.
We have interacted with him.
Yeah. I don't think they can. Are you very sure the Eddie Okech have passed a bill without public participation? Such a bill.
When that bill passed, it passed without public participation, MajiMaji. That is one of the concerns that we are raising.
Okay. So what are you planning to do? To overturn things, to have the bill include your views and vision?
So we are trying to first have public education. Watu wengi hata hawaelewi mambo za tech work. And the other thing that we are facing is, like, we need a public campaign to ensure that people have an understanding of the plight of tech workers in Kenya. People also think and center the idea that, ukona job ni job, kazi ni kazi. I think it's high time as Kenyans we start demanding for decent jobs. Yeah, job ni poa, but decent job is ideal. That is what we are demanding. Yeah.
So let me put it in context. Unatry kusema kina mtu wa online taxi wakiwa na issue wanataka kuongeza percentage yao, wako na complain about the platform etc. They can't go straight legally to the mother company. They can't if this bill is in place.
Yes, but the workers have actually lobbied for many years.
Yeah, that's much I'm aware.
Yeah, they've lobbied for many years. The unions have been very supportive, at least for that commission issue. The Transport Workers Union was very key in terms of this specific legislation. However, sometimes I always feel like the length of time it takes versus what you get. As I was telling you, this bill, 25% to 18%, it came in much later. And when economic conditions have shifted so much that I don't think workers actually feel the difference. When fuel was 100 bob and Uber was taking 25%, that's one thing. But fuel is 200 bob and Uber is taking 18%. Unaniget?
For their complaint, sasa hawezi enda direct. If the bill as it is now, the big company is now protected.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the relationship, the working environment. Maybe what are some of the concerns? Naona kuna kitu zingine nilisoma hadi human trafficking, nilisoma exploitation, inaangalia pia there is an issue of first you'll explain to me human trafficking sana, alafu psychological harm, at least you're nimesikia, but human trafficking and exploitation, explain that concern.
When I was working with content moderators, some of the things that they're saying, how they've been literally lied to about the jobs that they're coming to do, right? I don't know kama ulisoma histo MajiMaji. Unakumbuka hiyo kitu ya transatlantic slavery? Wakumbuka vile watu walikuwa wanashikwa tu ovyo ovyo, sijui unapewa sweets, unakuwa lured. Chekwa kiko hivyo. We have to draw parallels with history. Because tunafikirianga tu ati slavery ni kitu ya kitambo. Slavery ni kitu ya kitambo. Si kitu ya kitambo. It exists. Modern day slavery is real. And when we think of how Africans have fueled revolutions for many years, industrial revolution ni sisi tulifuel. When it was building the Americas, building cotton, physically our bodies were there, picking up cotton, sugarcane in the Caribbean. Yeah? And now, kuna fourth industrial revolution, inaleta na AI and all these things. Where is the labor coming from? Where is the critical minerals coming from? Think of lithium, cobalt. Think of DRC. Sisi ndo tunafuel hizi revolutions.
Are you accusing big tech companies of modern slavery?
That is modern slavery. I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just drawing parallels and saying, look at what happened in slavery times. Look at what is happening now. That is slavery. It's nothing accusatory. It is just the fact. This is slavery. And the fact that people are thinking to be a slave, you have to be in the field picking cotton, or to be a slave, you have to be doing something that was done is a slavery. It evolves. Slavery evolves. Now you have a laptop and you're sitting on your desk. Umeongea about psychosocial harm. You're sitting on your desk and you've started wearing glasses and you have a back problem. You work for 18 hours a day. Tell me that is not slavery.
I hope guys want to get empowered and a bit enlightened, and kindly, when you're watching this now, refer back, if you're in the tech world, refer back to your working environment versus what she's saying and the proposed bill. Now, hebu pia tujaribu tuiangalie from unakaa from a government side points,
Yeah.
There's unemployment, and you're trying to woo investors to come on board. Then investors wanasema the ease of doing business kuna shida, and the shida ni we are liable to accusations, legal lawsuits. How are you going to protect us from that before we invest major and create this employment? So if you look at it from that challenge of the government or the head of state to try and create who investors versus telling investors until you do this is when you can access this labor in this market.
Kenya kwanza tuko na bahati sana. Kenya ni hot cake. Watu wa huku wamesoma. We have English as an official language, which allows us to penetrate the internet better, right? And so this should be like a force to argue with businesses that, look, these are young people, I'm giving you numbers. These are young people who are well educated, they can articulate themselves, they're able to do this work effectively and as well as you expect them to. But we cannot accept you to pay them peanuts. Yes, they're looking for employment, and this is an environment. Already, Kenya is an enabling environment. The bustling youth population is an enabling environment. You already have human resources. So why can't you pay them decent money? Why can't you pay them well? Why can't you give them psychosocial support that is demanded of this kind of jobs? Because these jobs are demanding, right? In terms of the psychosocial aspect of it, you need the support. So these are just these are not even like claims of making you to work here. These are just bare minimum negotiations that must be happening.
So you feel the bill is the bill that protects the big techs is an excuse to exploit labor?
For sure.
From where you sit when you're nakusikia, the bill is an excuse to exploit more labor from Kenya.
Yes, because it's, as you know, tulikuwa promised Kenya kwanza, sio meta kwanza.
Tumegia kwa siasa.
Kenya kwanza.
Ilikuwa ni Kenya kwanza.
Nilikuwa ni Kenya kwanza. So Kenyans must be put on the forefront of this.
Meta is the bigger player.
Yes, but yeah, Meta is a bigger player. But I'm saying Kenyans first. Kenyans first. Our decency, we are decent human beings. Decent, dignified jobs. If you want to bring jobs here, they must be decent and dignified. Full stop.
Okay. Someone would ask, why Kenya and how is Kenya placed as a hub compared to in Africa and the world? Why is Kenya so attractive to the big techs? Unaileta ni kama big techs wako tu like, can I get Kenya? Or before I get Kenya, man, I'm not satisfied. Ina sound kama big techs wako, I must get Kenya. But nishaona kitu kai hiyo, by the way. Hata if you look at this out of music industry, you want to sell music online, they really want to set up in Kenya. I've always asked, kwani kuna nini Kenya?
Kuna nini Kenya?
Kuna nini Kenya? Wanamuziki wakilaunch ngoma zao, Kenya ndio ina bring value. Why Kenya? How is Kenya why is Kenya so attractive?
First point is that Kenya, when you think about colonial history,
Britain.
When you think about colonial history, and when you think about Kenya's position in global affairs, ini place ya home guard.
Oh, Kenya ni kwa home guard.
Kenya ni kwa home guard, which saddens me so much.
Kenya ni kwa home guard.
Kenya ni kwa home guard.
So si ni home guard.
Sisi sio home guard. But unajua vile home guard, they are big players. When you think of old money, right? Think of old money as an example. Most people into independence they were just poor families. People who were rich after independence are people when you walikuwa
Home guards.
you see. So that home guard mentality is what enables like coloniality. That idea of wazungu wanafaa kujienjoy huko hata at the expense of Kenyans.
It makes it easy for
mentality yenye
to work with us
exactly
for their sake.
Unaona?
Tunawaelewa faster.
To some extent, that can be it.
Or let's put it in a better way. Kenyans are more exposed.
No.
To the way things are.
No, I think that is hiyo ni mentality ya ukoloni by the way, kusema Kenyans are more exposed. Because kila mtu akona idea yake ya world view tofauti and everything is valid. Yeah? But idea yenye Kenya inaweza kuwa home sana kwa wazungu. Kwa uzungu, let me use uzungu, not wazungu. Kenya inaweza accommodate uzungu zaidi.
So
ni idea ya home guard.
So that is one reason.
That is one reason.
Second?
The second reason is because Kenya has English as an official language, right? English as an official language gives us an advantage because the internet vile exist ni kama koloni. So English ndio ina dominate huko. So kama una navigate na English, it's very easy for you to penetrate the internet.
Okay. So
ukifungua websites nyingi ziko kwa English. Ukifungua nini ziko kwa English, right? Na hiyo tena ni shida ya system.
So nataka kusema watu kuja kuinvest wanasema they would understand us faster.
Yes.
Their English is better than Nigeria and other African nations. So let's start from Kenya.
Maybe their English is not better, but they speak English.
They speak English.
Yeah. I contest their English being better. I think just speaking English is a thing. It's something that can put us on the table. But on the other hand, I think Kenya is the home of M-Pesa. Third reason, financial inclusion. Fintech ilianzia Kenya. When you think of including the unbanked people, we challenge the banking system. As long as you have a smartphone, you know, banking inahitaji sijui kuwe na physical address. Nani hata akona hizo vitu? The informality yenye iko Kenya, it allowed a lot of inclusion of people. So that fintech, that innovation, ilileta first of all mobile penetration, because now kila mtu vile M-Pesa ili come to 6 to 7. Kila mtu alihitaji kukuwa na kabambe, at least a feature phone. Most people now started getting. So smartphone penetration was not even now an issue. Now the evolution, you know, and that is what has brought this tech. Because when you say tech penetrate Kenya, like this is how Kenya became known as, I hate this term, Silicon Savannah.
Silicon Savannah.
No.
It's a bad term.
Let's create our own. We don't have to look like Silicon Valley. We have our own innovations. Umaumau lazima. Umaumau lazima. Yeah, so we need to have, you know, so that fintech inclusion.
Na katapila. Kulima na mkono.
Hapana, hatukatai katapila. But tunataka katapila yenye inasaidia kila mtu. Kama hiyo katapila ni ya MajiMaji pekee, shamba ya MajiMaji pekee. Tunataka katapila pia kwangu. Okay. Katapila ifike mtaa. Okay. So that is the thing. I'm not against tech, inclusion, innovation. These are so important things. But human beings must be put first. Human-centered technology, right? See, humans are serving the tech. That cannot work and should not be the case.
It's the other way around.
The other way around. And as the tech is serving humans, then we must be able to think about workers' rights very, very critically, right? Okay. And you know, kitu tunasema, like, basically, the end all be all of this is that workers' rights must be centered. Workers' issues must be centered and considered as we are really thinking of which are the legislations that allow technology firms to work here. How can you create because we all want to thrive. MajiMaji. I think at the end of the day, that is my take home. We all want to thrive. And so workers' rights and workers' issues must be centered.
So are we preparing to petition the Senate? Are we preparing to sue somebody as a way forward?
Petition.
as action? How do you want to stop this, what you don't like, from going on?
Petition has already been signed by 35 workers and the Oversight Lab. And then there's going to be an ongoing case from 14th. There's a hearing, 14th October. Okay. So I urge to follow closely and, to people to think about the plight of workers. Because leo ni wewe, kesho ni mwingine. We are all actually affected. Most of us are unemployed. Most of us are living within the fringes of, poverty. And so it's really an issue of centering worker voices, centering worker issues. And as we think of workers' rights, let's not be passive about it. Let's be very active in pushing for this agenda.
Maybe your other hope is that when this gets to the president's desk, kindly talk to him. This gets to his there. Sasa piga muhuri story and
Kenya Kwanza.
Huh?
Kenya Kwanza. That is my end all be all. Put Kenyans first. Think of Kenyan workers, and they should be the center of this.
Tell him why it's not thinking about Kenya.
As you're creating...
Mr. President, this is not Kenya Kwanza. Kindly don't. And why? In a very short. Hauna time na dakika 2-3.
As bills are being created, as legislations are being created to create an enabling environment for tech companies to come and invest here, it's very important and it's very crucial and critical to center the needs of workers, the demands that workers have been putting across over the years, and to listen to workers as you're signing these bills, these petitions. Let's really recenter technology to serve people and not people serving technology.
All right. It can't be said any better from my end. Now that we watch up, as powerful as it is, the only favor unaweza tufanyia, what we can do towards this concern, because they are Kenyans and they are people just like us, kindly share this information to as many people as you can, so that awareness ikuwe juu, invoke critical thinking, and also to give it the power it deserves. Na vile amesema tu, Kenya Kwanza, kindly forward and share and share. Also tune into the radio to have discussion about it. We'll invite lawyers and other people to also critique the bill, or maybe we'll explain better the bill. Come on, a few sawa. And we're looking forward to inviting the senators, a few of them, to also explain, was there public participation or not? But from where I sit, Radio Cage, iezi pita. Sifuna, Kristo, Kajua, Kingi.
Inject.
Haiwezi pita bila public participation. Kaigi pita, hebu angalieni ni mlango gani ili come nayo, because there is huge complaint from the tech workers about the bill. Kindly attend to it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, share kabisa. And thank you for your time.
Asante.
Thank you for your time. Aluta continua. Sawa.
Tumeleta umaumau.